Today we're going to be batoning some wood, getting ready to start a fire for a campground. Safety is always our #1 concern. So, just making sure my area is clear here, using the back of my blade, getting ready, not cutting towards myself. But for batoning this wood, we've already sawed it. We're going to take some small pieces off the end, so that way we can expose the inner dried wood instead of the weathered outer wood. So we're just going to use some clean strokes. We're going to keep the blade away from us. And here we go. And you got to apply equal pressure to your blade and your handle. See, like that. Get nice pieces like this. They can go on after you've got your fire established. We'll continue doing that. Make sure you always have your blade nice and set before you start pounding on it. And this will take some practice. Our logs into more manageable pieces, we can start making our kindling. Now, we'll still need some pieces that are more like this, but we might still need some smaller ones to catch a spark or whatever we're using to start a fire. In this case, we're using lint, our secret to success. With this batoning, it's not as much effort as before, but you still need to be careful. And when I'm doing this type of batoning, I'm always very careful because anything could snap at any moment, like that just did. And when this starts happening, where it's snapping like this, I start just putting it down on my table, and I'm putting my knife and using the back of my knife to hammer it down. And then it usually splits like that. I'll just go like that. Safety first. And I'll get some smaller kindling like that. So we just do this until we have about that much kindling, so we can fit it into our fingers like so. About a bundle that big. Then you're going to need progressively larger stuff. Doesn't have to be perfect, just needs to be able to catch flame. Sharp edges catch flame best. So we'll be skipping ahead here, save time, little energy on the battery. So, until then. Now these are your 4 different size piles. Kindling from the beginning, and your fuel size to your end. And I just like to use 4, some people just use 3. Now we're just going to get ready. Here we have our ball of lint, our kindling, and then our second stage of wood. We're going to light it right now using my flint and my comb and campfire. And this is just another skill that you need to practice, and you need to be safe about it. And if you've done your preparation right, this is when it's going to pay off. Now the fire may tend towards one side or another, but just remember you don't want to smother one side. You want to make sure there's plenty of fire on there, plenty of fuel on the fire at that location, but not too much, because the fire needs oxygen to burn. And now your fire still isn't out of the woods yet. Once you catch your big fuel logs, your last stage, that's when you finally have a self-sustaining fire. And now that I have all my second stage kindling on, I'm going to go get my third stage, make sure my fire and length is out of here, back in its place. You have a little bit of time, but not too much. Don't dilly-dally. I just add it one piece at a time, making sure not to smother the fire. And one thing I failed to mention is that you need a good base plate to protect from the moisture that's in the ground and from the coolness in the ground, and just anything that might be on the ground that will impede your fire progress. So this thing is looking pretty good right now. That still doesn't mean we're out of the woods yet. Another important thing is making sure all the wood you're collecting is dry, dead wood, or else it won't catch a spark, won't catch a fire, and you're going to be sitting in the dark, cold as hell. Now it seems I've burned all my third stage wood, or I got it on there. So I'm going to take a few of my last stage wood, my fuel stage, and once some of my third stage starts catching fire, I'm just going to start making a little teepee with my last stage stuff. See how it's falling up like that? That's when you really need to be careful. And you have to have a stir stick set aside for doing this type of stuff. We have ours right over there. Don't know, you can't see where I'm pointing, but it's there. This is our ingenious little stir stick right here. Got a nice little hook on the end into a piece of green wood so it doesn't burn. And we like it very much. So now that your bay pieces are starting to catch fire, you're finally to the self-sustaining phase, where you can leave this fire for an amount of time as much as the wood you put on can allow, and it's going to be fine. So, bon voyage, we're going to enjoy this warm fire. It's getting darker now. Spring of 2013. Here we go.
Please don't forget to subscribe and check out our website with the link in the description below.
And remember, plan for the best, prepare for the rest.